Before the Great Irish Famine, Ireland's population increased to 8 million people, with approximately 700 people per square mile living on cultivated land. Irish peasants were among the poorest of Europe. Only about 25% of the Irish population had the ability to read and write.
More than 3 million Irish peasants relied on the potato as their main food source. Because the agricultural system was heavily based on the production of potatoes, the potatoes were the only thing sustaining the Irish.
Well, the English, who owned most of the Irish countryside, would only set foot on their property once or twice a year. These Englishmen, they demanded a portion of the farmers' potatoes as rent. This is one reason why the famine made life so hard on the peasants, because they couldn't pay for shelter.
The strategy of laissez-faire gave the British an excuse to step back and wait for situations in Ireland to get better on their own.
While famine was spreading, English-controlled Ireland continued to export large quantities of native-grown grains. This food could have been used to feed the hungry, but because of this policy, the people remained starved and impoverished.
In 1815, the British enacted the Corn Laws, which were used to artificially keep up the prices of all imported grains by imposing a high tariff. The price of corn in Ireland increased immensely. This was just another food product that was unavailable to the Irish because of the British.
The English Prime Minister Peel acted to repeal this law but was dismissed for these actions.
With Peel gone, Charles Trevelyan was able to take the lead when dealing with the Irish conflict. After Trevelyan came to power, all food depots were closed. The only meager food we were receiving, which was Indian corn, is now not being distributed. All the while, homegrown grain and livestock are being exported to England. They want us to starve.
The circumstances which appeared most aggravating was that the people were starving in the midst of plenty, and that every tide carried from the Irish ports could suffice for the maintenance of thousands of people.
In 1838, the Whig government of Earl Grey passed the Poor Law Act, which tried to rid Ireland of poverty by placing multiple poor law unions. Within each union were workhouses where unemployed homeless peasants were forced to work under horrible conditions. Immigration or death were the only opportunities of escape from these workhouses.
springtime voyage to the west was not so enjoyable. Immigrants journeyed on what they called coffin ships, hence the name. The death toll among these ships was up to 30%. Getting on these ships was not easy. The United States had passed 2 new passenger acts, which made the voyage even more expensive. On top of that, conditions are unbearable. The unsanitary lifestyle makes typhus easy to catch. The majority of us have died from typhus, while others drowned during ocean storms. Hope is the only thing keeping me alive.
Finally, in 1851, the genocide had ended, leaving Ireland with 3 million people less than in 1844.